Hello! It's been a hell of a long time since I've done a video where I'm just sat in front of the computer talking about, I guess, anxiety. And that may be, I guess, down to the fact that I haven't really experienced anything that has been like over the top anxiety. Let's talk about anxiety for a minute. Over the past however long it's been since I've been regularly posting videos about anxiety, like I've just been living, I've been doing things, we've been going away, we've been on holidays, we've been doing things. And we've been doing things recently. We went yesterday to it's a place called Conkers, and it's like a discovery centre and like nature, and there's climbing frames and a little train. We went on a train, the first train I've been on for years. It was only a little train that went probably like 300 yards, but I went on a train. And over the past, it's been about 5 months, I think, I've been working on a project down at my brother's unit. So he's got an industrial unit where he does camper van conversions. And over the course of the last 5 months, I've been converting my own van. I bought myself a VW transporter, and since October, I think, I started it. I've literally finished it today. Or I finished it Wednesday, but I did a few bits today as well. So yeah, I've got a camper van now, which is epic. It's my lifelong dream is to have a camper van, and I've now got a camper van. But today, I was stood at the side of my camper van, and there was just this little bit of wiring that I needed to tidy up. So I got into the van, I knelt into the van, and I was holding a P-clip thing with a little screw and a screwdriver, and I was going to P-clip this cable in to the wall. But the van was parked on a bit of a slope, and for some reason my head just fell off. Now, when I first got to the unit this morning, I did feel tired. I even said to my brother, I feel knackered this morning. I helped him out with a few bits, and then it got to about 1 o'clock. I'd ordered some lunch to be dropped off at the unit, and I was in the back of the van, and I just felt weird. And then I got out of the van, and I was stood at the side of it, and my head was dizziness. Dizziness was back. Now, that's not to say that I haven't felt dizziness since I did the last video about dizziness. In fact, I got home from the unit at about 2:30, something like that, this afternoon, and I watched one of my old videos about dizziness, and I could probably just re-upload it now, because it's pretty much exactly the same thing. It's not a rotational dizziness. It's just a weird head, pressure-y sort of feeling. Impossible to explain. It's I don't know, my eyes feel pressure, my head feels weird. Everything just feels weird. Now, in the past when that's happened, I've gone into full-blown panic. And today, I went into full-blown panic. For the first time in I don't know how long it's been. So I'll talk you through it. It happened at the van. And then I checked my phone. I ordered the food on Uber Eats. My brother was in the unit. I was just on the edge of the unit, just outside the shutter at my van. And I could see the guy on Uber Eats was literally 2 minutes away. So I thought, okay, I'll go to the gate and meet him, because there's a coded gate. You can't get in unless you know the code. So I thought, I'll go and meet him. And I got about halfway there, and I went into panic. I was having all those stupid old feelings and thoughts of what if something happens when I get there? What if I make a fool of myself while I'm walking? What if I go completely dizzy and lose control of everything, and I can't go and get the food? So I stopped, and I turned round, and I looked back at the unit, and I thought, I'm going to have to go and tell my brother, and he's going to have to go and get it. But then I did a bit of self-talk, but it wasn't a self-talk, a compassionate self-talk. It was an aggressive self-talk. It was get a effing grip, man. What are you doing? You've been here before so many times. It may have been a while, but what are you doing? I know that I can go and do it. So I did. I went and got the food off the guy, and that was all right. Once I'd had that little chat with myself, I was all right. Went and got the food, came back to the unit, went into the unit, put the food down on the workbench, and went to tell my brother, food's here, man. Let's go eat. And then he came out of the office, and I looked down at the food, and I felt it again. And when I say it, I cannot explain what it is, but whatever it is, I felt it. So I felt it again, like I was feeling on the brink of panic. Walked outside, like to the edge of the unit, back to where my van was, and just, I don't know, man. Every time I was going to get in my van or like standing by my van, I was having this weird dizzy sort of feeling. Dizziness is the best way to describe it, even though it's not like a dizziness as if you've been spinning around. It's I don't know, it's not even really a lightheadedness. It's just a weird feeling that something is not right. It felt like I was getting it every time I looked down, like that was my issue. Or every time I sort of crouched down, picked something out of the van or whatever off the floor. It just felt weird. So I was just walking around like the yard outside the units, just doing endless circles, trying to think like what could be the cause of this happening to me. Like, am I hungry because I hadn't eaten that morning? Did I get up too early? And I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer to the question. So we locked up the unit at about 2 o'clock. I got home at about 2:30, and I, for some strange reason, I knew I was on my way home, and I knew that when I got home I was going to feel freaky again. It was almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. I'd convinced myself that I was going to feel weird when I got out of the van and had to make that little journey into the house, and sure enough, I got out the van, put some stuff in the bin outside, came to the door, opened the door, got in, and as soon as I stepped foot in the house, I just felt it again. Felt that same feeling. So I went into the kitchen, grabbed some water, headed upstairs, and all this time it was like the old feelings of getting out of a supermarket, like when the legs go to jelly and your breathing's off, and you can feel your heart racing and just your stomach's in knots. And then I just lay on the bed and managed to relax. Like, I didn't have any more of those waves, but what I did notice that I fell asleep for like 10-15 minutes. So whether I was just knackered or not, I don't know. But I woke up after falling asleep. And then I was just laying in bed and I was watching some YouTube. That's when I watched my old video and realised like I could literally upload it now and it would be the same. Apart from, I guess, the only thing that's different now is that used to happen a lot more frequently. And today it happened at about 1 o'clock this afternoon. And then by about 4 o'clock I was back downstairs and able to function again like I'm down here now. I'm still thinking about it because I think it's impossible to stop yourself from thinking about it. But I guess what this video really aims to say is, you know, even though I went to Silverstone a few weeks ago and I've got trips planned, like loads of trips planned this year, some actual big ones, but it just goes to show that I'm far from over this crap. Do you know what I mean? It's still there. It still comes back to haunt me every now and again. And even at the place that we went to yesterday, that Conkers, I felt, we was having some lunch, we was in the restaurant, and we sat right over the far side, and the salt and vinegar was right over the other side, and I had to go and walk across. I didn't have to, but I wanted salt and bloody vinegar. So I walked all the way across the restaurant, and when I got halfway there, I felt a bit disorientated, but I didn't really put it down to anything. The only thing I've noticed is over the last maybe 3 or 4 days is I've been sleeping really deep, and I'm waking up feeling groggy. So I don't know, am I having too much sleep? I don't think so, possibly. Am I sleeping too deep? Is that a thing? I don't know. I just don't know. I'm trying not to look for reasons as to why it's happened. It happened. It happened earlier today. I'm downstairs now. I'm sitting in front of my computer. I'm looking around. I'm actually testing to see, do I feel any dizziness? But there's nothing there. So that has to give me enough confidence to know that if something comes up tomorrow and I have to go out, then I can. And I will. Because I'm not going to let this cycle. I'm not going to live the next few days thinking, oh, sugar, what if that happens again? But it does give me a reminder that I'm still vulnerable. I'm still vulnerable to those feelings and having that panic today. Like, it was a full-blown panic. I was in panic mode, and I haven't been there for ages. And I probably didn't handle it the best way that I could have. Well, I definitely didn't, because I stopped. I turned round and I thought to myself, I'm going to have to go and get my brother. I was panicking. I was feeling it. I didn't just accept it. I didn't just walk through it. I'm 20 years in to anxiety at this point. You know, it's been 20 years. I'm pretty sure it's about 20 years now since I had that first panic attack. And today's was pretty much the same reaction that I had back then. So all the crap that I've learned over the years and how to do this, that and the other, for me, still 20 years in, like when panic strikes, that kind of goes out the window. Obviously, I didn't run away, I didn't bail, but there was nowhere really for me to bail to. I think if I'd have been in a place and that happened today, I would have exited. I'm pretty sure I would have. And I've got some, like I say, I've got some big trips planned. Some big things. I've got some smaller ones as well. I'm going down south with my dad for a couple of days. In a couple of weeks, in about 2-3 weeks, I'm going camping with Josh, my boy, next week. Magda's going to the Czech Republic next week with Sophia. Tallulah, my daughter's going to Portugal next week. So I'll be home alone next week for like 10 days, which I'm not fussed about. I mean, I've done it enough times now. But my dad said earlier that this kind of thing always seems to happen when Magda's planned to go away. So maybe it's a subconscious thing where I'm just feeling a bit under pressure. I'm feeling a bit stressed about being on my own. I don't know the answer. I think the answer, or looking for reasons as to why it's happened, I think that's the part that I can control. So it's like, I try not to do that now. Just switch it off. It happened. I'm still here. I dealt with it. But in the moment, I questioned whether I would still be here. I really did. So yeah, I just thought I'd share that update with you because I know it's been a long time and people do comment and say like, how are you doing now? Or can you post an update? I was reading some of the comments on the old videos that I've had and like, people asking, can I do an update? So this is your update. It's still here. It's still here. My daughter's squealing. She's having a bath. It's bedtime. And I need to relax myself, make myself a cup of tea, sit on the sofa, try and unwind and stop thinking about what's happened today. Because tomorrow's a new one. And we'll see what happens there. But yeah, stay tuned. I'm posting a lot more videos on here, or I plan to, over the next few weeks with regards to like the camping thing and the trip with my dad, and maybe I'll do something on my van, like show you guys around it. Not anxiety related, unless I freak out while I'm there, which is in the back of my mind now, of course. So hopefully I'll see you there on the camping ground. Yeah, chin up. I hope everybody else is doing well. If any of the old subscribers are still about, and new subscribers or any viewers that are watching this, yeah, Dizziness back, but I won't be defeated.